Good evening, everyone. ఇవాళ క్లాస్ లేదు. ఇవాళ క్లాస్ లేదు. టుడే దేర్ ఇస్ నో క్లాస్. ఎవరు వినట్లేదు. No one is ready to listen. I said good evening. All are in busy with talking with their friends. So I am leaving. Why you discussing in the class? Discuss in room or in hostel or in lab. Once you come to the class, you should discuss with me. Phone calls, video calls. Okay, look at here. Multi-threading with JVM architecture and executor framework. This is the chapter we are learning. Right?
Yes, sir.
Multi-threading with JVM architecture completed. Now we need to start understanding executor framework. Just go through once, all points covered, anything is missing. Come on, fast. Read all points. If anything is not covered, ask me. Hmm. Hmm. That is today class, na? Ma? Mark is it? All points covered? Yes, sir. Volatile not covered. Oh, okay. Next. Starvation. Oh, okay. Ma? Notify all. You notify to one thread, notify. Notify to all threads, notify all. If multiple waiting threads are there, then if you want to notify about the lock availability to all threads, then you should call notify all. Then all threads move from waiting state to lock acquisition state. Then which thread will get the lock? Randomly. Okay, thread scheduler pick one of the thread randomly and assign the lock and executes. If you call notify, only one thread will move from waiting state to lock acquisition state. That is the difference. Huh? What? Okay, I'm giving you 3 assignments to you. You find volatile nodes by your own. Go through Google, search for volatile related point. Find out what the difference between deadlock and starvation. Search yourself. And also search for a program on thread local, concept on thread local. Tomorrow you coming to class, you have to submit the notes on volatile keyword, notes on difference between deadlock and starvation, and what is thread local, why thread local, how thread local, program on thread local, different application areas of the thread local. Okay, so this is assignment to you. You have to work out and come. Understood? Yes, sir. Okay. Today I will teach you executor framework, means implementing callable interface, supplying logic to the thread by implementing callable interface. And then following by what is inline thread, different ways of creating a custom thread. Yeah, totally 8 ways I mentioned, or any 8 or more ways are there, we have to find out. Then sample projects, already we developed so many projects as part of multi-threading, printing program, object program, complete list of entry questions and OCJ bits also we have covered on each topic. I mean, this last topic I don't cover as a separate topic. This will be part of this entire syllabus. By end of this chapter, you will be in a position to develop multi-threading program with a different cases as per business with the executor framework and fork or join framework. Fork or join framework no one is using in the market. If you are interested to learn, learn. Otherwise, leave it. Up to executor framework knowledge is sufficient. Tell me. I want run 10 tasks concurrently. Then how many threads I should create? 10 threads. 20 tasks I want execute. 20 threads. 100 tasks I want execute. 100 threads. Okay. You want to construct a house. Then will you employ 100 workers? And then? Okay. I want, 100 workers capacity is there, but will you employ 100 workers? No, right. You will reuse the employees. You reuse the workers, right? Yes. Employing multiple workers is not a good idea. Similarly, creating multiple custom threads for each task, separate thread creation is also not a good idea, because thread is not a normal concept. It is a OS level concept. Thread is a OS level concept. Who will create threads? OS. Who will manage the threads? OS. Okay. So it's thread is a called what? Resource. Tell me, exception in chapter I told you. You will get a exception as a checked exception if it is dealing with the resources. If an exception is dealing with the resources, resource means what? Something, a program is connected to outside external things, then we call it as what? Resource. A properties file is called resource. A XML file is called resource. A thread is called resource. Tell me, is a thread part of your program or part of JVM? Part of JVM, which is part of OS. That's why in multi-thread, in a threaded class, majority of the methods are native. They are not normal Java methods, they are native methods, because they have to interact with the OS to perform the thread operation. Thread creation, start method is a native method, start 0. Run method is normal method because you are writing the logic. Sleep method, interrupt method, join method, wait method, every method which is working with the threads is called what? Native method. So creating threads as many as you like is a good idea, bad idea? But I have so many tasks to execute. Then how many threads required? Okay, create 2 or 3 threads and reuse these 3 threads for executing multiple tasks. Okay. Once you create a thread, can you reuse that thread? Once you create a thread, can you reuse the thread? Not possible, because you can supply logic to the custom thread only one time. So how the threads are reusing? For that, I have to write some manipulation code, right? So every developer in the company has to perform multitasking or multiple tasks to execute. For that, they have to create multiple custom threads and they have to reuse the logic in the multiple custom thread. It's a really complex job. Multi-threading handling is really complex job. But Java people made it very, very simple. By giving runnable interface, thread class, start method call, they made it simple actually. But by giving executor framework, they made more simple. Okay, if you want to execute 10 tasks, you have to create 10 custom threads. Okay, what Sun Microsystem telling? From Java 5 version onwards, whenever you want to create multiple custom threads, you don't show your talent. Already we have shown our talent. Use the concept called what? Executor frame. Use the concept called what? Thread pool. What? Use the concept called thread pool. Thread pooling is nothing but string pooling. String pooling. Wrapper classes, I told object pooling. What is the meaning of object pooling? Create an object one time and reuse that object repeatedly. Then we call it as what? Object pooling. Similarly, you create thread only one time and use this thread repeatedly for executing multiple tasks. Then we call it as what? Thread pooling. Already a pre-cached threads are created. Already pre-cached threads are created. Then I want to reuse those threads for executing my tasks. Then that pre-cached threads group is called what? Thread pool. It's like in our regular, if I store multiple values as a group, we call it as array. That array concept, because we are storing threads, it is called what? Thread pool. So what we are trying to understand, executor services, executor framework, or you are learning what? Thread pool. That means in this, from Java 5 version onwards, are you creating thread object, or are you only implementing a logic to executing thread? Then how can we create the threads? For creating thread, we have a predefined class called executor. Executor service, which is available in the package called java.util.concurrent package. In the java.util.concurrent package, we have a predefined class called executor service. Executor service equal to, tell me, will you create services or you will start service? For starting service and to execute service, we need one executor. For example, to start our classes, to run these classes, we need one executor, nothing but faculty. Naresh sir is there in the office, and now he is making sure that this class is started and executed by one executor. So to start the executor service, we have a special program called what? Executors. What is the name of the class? Executors dot. There are several methods. Executors is ready to start one service with 0 threads, with 1 thread, with 2 threads, with 3 threads, with a dynamic number of threads. Again repeating, executor service is a service. It has collection of threads. A collection of threads is technically called what? Thread pool. To create that thread pool or pool of threads, we have a predefined class called what? Executor service. To start this executor service, we need one class called executors. Tell me, a class that contains the methods to create object of other class and return. That class is called what? Factory class. Which class? Factory class. And a method that has a logic to create object and return. That particular method is called what? Factory method. If a class contains only factory methods to create object of a class and return, then the class is called what? Factory class. Tell me, executors is a class. Is it a normal class or factory class? It is a factory class. It creates multiple threads. It creates thread pool with a given number of threads and return the thread pool reference to our program as executor service. This point is clearer. So tell me, how can we create a custom thread? We can create custom thread in 3 ways. Extending from thread class, implementing runnable interface. In extending from thread class or implementing runnable interface, who should create a thread? Who should start the thread? Programmer, U1. Thread th1 equal to new thread, or my thread mt1 equal to new my thread. But in the third approach, we don't create the threads. We just request the executors to create the thread. Understand? So this executors contains a method called new single thread executor. New single thread executor. And tell me, how many threads are there in this pool? Only one thread. Only one thread. Can I say it's a service one place? Pool one? I want to call thread pool one otherwise. Service one or thread pool one. Inside this thread pool, how many threads are there? Then tell me. If I want to run 10 tasks by using this pool one, then all the tasks are executed concurrently or sequentially? Sequential, because we have only one thread. No, I don't want one thread, I want multiple threads. Then executor service thread pool 2 equal to executors dot. There is a method called new fixed thread pool. What a new fixed thread pool? You mention the number here. Tell me, if you create array int array ia equal to new int of 5, how many locations are created? 5. Similarly, if we call executors dot new fixed thread pool of 5, how many threads are created in this pool? 5 threads. Then if I submit 5 tasks to these 5 threads, then all 5 tasks are executed concurrently or not? Okay, you went to one restaurant. Restaurant is full. All tables are full. Then what will you do? You forcefully go into that restaurant and pulling one customer out. No, you have to wait outside until one of the customers completing his dinner or lunch or whatever, right? And until one table is free, you have to wait outside. How many threads are there? How many tasks are there? 5 tasks are executed by 5 threads concurrently. Okay. Now what am I doing? I am submitting 10 tasks. Then all 10 tasks can be executed concurrently now. 5 threads are there, will take only 5 tasks. Then remaining 5 tasks has to wait for their turn because threads are busy. Sleeping? I am sleeping today. I don't know. I got sleeping mode. Hey, every day you only sleep. I don't have right to sleep. Today I will sleep. Now tell me. So how many threads are there in this pool? 2? 5. Okay. I don't want to fix the threads. I don't want to fix the threads. If I fix the threads, if I want to 10, 20, 30, 40 tasks, so it will be difficult or not? Unnecessary waiting time is increasing, na? So I don't want to tell to the executors how many threads must be there in this pool. I want to take executor decided how many threads. Okay, based on the requirement, it will create number of pools increasing and decreasing. For that, we have a method called new cache thread pool. What is the method name? New cache thread pool. That means how many threads are there in this pool? I cannot say. The decision will be taken by executor's background on demand. And a minimum some threads will be there. Cached means what? Predefined. Some threads, some minimum number. For example, if you create array, when you are creating array, you are creating with the size what? 5. 5 is what? Pre-cached. If at all I required more, I can increase with some logic background. Okay. Same way, new cached thread pool means, for example, you are going outside with some cash in your pocket. So you thought of, okay, 500 rupees are sufficient. 500 rupees you taken and went outside. How much is pre-cached amount is there in your pocket? 500 rupees. But now background in your phone pay, some more money there, na? If required, we will use the phone pay. Maximum this 500 I want to spend. So that's why now new cached thread pool means inside this pool, some fixed number of threads will be created, and by using those threads, it will start running our tasks. If more tasks are coming, if more threads are required, it will create those threads and use them. Here, how many threads? 1. First method, how many threads? 1. Second method? Third method? Dynamic. Dynamically, it will create the threads on demand. Okay. Next. Now, one more method is there. Thread pool 4. New scheduled thread pool. New scheduled thread pool means Are these threads are immediately started or scheduled? Scheduled and for future sake, not now. I'm not going to submit the tasks now. Later, at some upon the time, it will start. In projects, maximum we will use this third method. New cached thread pool, because why I take risk? If I say five unnecessary 5 creating. If all my tasks with the 2 threads can manage, then unnecessary 3 threads extra they are living and happily sleeping. Na? So first one never use, because single thread. Just method is there, but we don't use. Second one is unnecessary resources waste. If more tasks are submitted, 5 threads cannot handle, then unnecessary time wasting. That's why in projects, if you want to work with the thread pools, we will use what? Third method. And fourth method, I never find any requirement. So if you find any requirement, any sample program, let me. Okay, fine. So tell me what we are learning as part of executor framework. As part of this topic, we are learning how can we create a thread as a pool. Thread pools we are learning. So means we are not creating our own thread. We are asking the executor to create thread. It is render asking how many you want. And tell me, pools are good, individual is good? Individual good? Tell me. Now you have Rapido bike. Okay. Tell me, if every person buying their own bike, if every person buying their own car, if every person buying their own basu lorry, then number of, the maintenance cost is increasing. You have to provide the space for your car or bike to park in your house. More space is using. And next, now for you single person to drive and go, lot of petrol you have to consume. Then why you are coming on a car with single person, sir? Good question you are asking, right? Always you target me on, yeah? Okay, because I am getting a fear of driving the bike in Hyderabad. Understood? And moreover, I calculated what is the petrol cost for my bike. That is equal to car, because my house is next by building only. Okay, na? Almost 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes distance only my house. So you want to come. Okay. So that's why, car also same price, bike also same price, which is a safety for me. At this age, bike required for me. Tell me, already bike enjoyments are over, right? So in childhood only I enjoyed, snake style driving and all. When somebody is driving a bike with a snake, this car corner, that car corner. Already I experience everyone, right? So, but I get thrilled, okay, by seeing all this person. But careful, Ray, you should have control on your driving. And remember, people who are driving the bike, never use a front brake. Never use a front brake first. If you use a front brake first, Gaya. You use back brake first, okay? Then use front brake, so that bike will be controlled. First you front brake, bike you both people will round and somewhere. Where am I? Hello? Okay. So remember that bike driving is also a skill, okay, fine. So come back to the story. So now tell me, having individual thread for each task is not a good idea. So whenever you want to deal with multiple threads, better go for what? Executor framework. So what is a framework? A framework is nothing but set of classes and interfaces combinedly working together to complete one task is called what? Framework. Sir, but my sir told different definitions. Semi-developed project, almost completed project, right? Everywhere you go, this is the definition will be there in the websites or faculties, classes, everywhere. But I want to tell different definition, okay? What is the framework? This is also right definition. Don't tell this is wrong. What is a framework? Framework is nothing but a project, correct? The project fully developed? No, only semi-developed, almost finished project. Now what it contain? Set of classes and interfaces. Abstract classes will not be there, sir. Abstract class is also class only, na? Enum, sir. Enum is also class only, na? Mari annotation, sir. Annotation is a interface. Annotation is a interface. So abstract class, concrete class, final class, enum. All these four comes under class. Record also class. Annotation, interface are what? Interface. So that's why generally all the 7 classes are referred by use the word class and interface. Set of classes and interfaces working together to perform one common task is called what? Framework. A semi-developed project that contains set of classes and interfaces performing same operation common to all projects is called what? Framework. Executor framework is a framework. This executor services, this thread pool concept is a framework. What this framework is doing? This framework also contains set of classes and interfaces performing the same operation, creating and executing threads. Executor service, executors, some other supporting classes and interfaces, all are working together to perform the same operation. What is that? Creating threads and running the threads. That's why this framework is named as executor framework. There are some working employees are there. Whenever you say in core Java, 3 frameworks are there actually. Number 1, collections framework, which is available from Java 1.2. Java 5 version onwards, we have executor framework. From Java 7 version onwards, we have fork and join framework. So totally 3 frameworks are there in core Java, nothing but in Java SE. Last batch student has attended interview and told, yeah, a collections framework, executor framework. He looked at it, not nonsense are you talking about? In core Java, there are no frameworks, only API we have. Okay, sir. Hey, never argue with the interviewer. If his ego feeling is hurted, okay, he will not give you job. So that's why my student smiled. Yeah, API only, but I think somewhere I read, that API group of classes which are performing same operation is technically called framework. So core Java also has 3 frameworks: collections framework, set of classes and interfaces performing collecting objects is called collections framework, set of classes and interfaces which are meant for creating thread pool and run the task by using the threads available in the pool is called what? Executor framework. Maybe I was thinking that it is correct. Yeah, thanks for correcting me. Understood? Yeah. Thanks for correcting me. Indirectly you are slapping him. Tumri fellow. 10 years you are working in the company, this small thing also you don't know, and you are correcting him. Okay, you are giving explanation to him, but you are not showing your talent. You are wrong, I am right. You are sharing that and creating a doubt in his mind, and finally you are saying, thanks for correcting me. Next interview, next time I don't do this mistake. Don't say next interview, you are missing this interview. Next time I will correct my mistake. Okay, so when you say like this, when you praise him, he feels so surprised. Yeah, somebody is identifying my skill, and he will definitely give you a job and ask you to work in his team. Then you can start showing your talent. Or tomorrow fella, you don't know anything, I know everything. Are you following her? So carefully you have to deal with the interviewer. Okay, right. Now come back now. Do you understand what the meaning of executor framework? Now, how many classes are there as part of executor framework? 3 classes are very important. Number 1, executor. What's the name of the class? Executor. Number 2, executor service. Number 3, executors. What? First one? Executor is a interface. Executor service is a sub-interface of executor. Interface. Interface. Do you know about interfaces? Interface is a one kind of data type. It is used for representing main type of the object by declaring all its operations. Interface is a contract document between implementation class and user classes of an object. We will create interface by using the keyword interface. Interface allows us to create public static final variables, public abstract methods, public static inner class. From Java 8 version onwards, we can create public static implemented methods, public default implemented method. From Java 9 version onwards, we can also create private static method and private non-static methods. Gurtunda? Interface is a fully abstract class. We cannot instantiate. If we try compiler throw error, the class that is implementing interface must use the keyword implements keyword, should implement all abstract methods available in the interface. If we don't want to implement some of the methods available in the interface, the class should declare as abstract. While implementing interface method, we must use accessibility modifier public because interface methods are by default public. Interface mainly used for developing runtime polymorphism, loose coupling and runtime polymorphism. It guarantees 100% runtime polymorphism because it is a abstract, cannot be instantiated. The reference variable receiving object is subclass object, and the methods are abstract method. We force already subclass to implement those methods and invoke that method. It is executed from subclass based on the object we passed. Yes, sir. Remember all the points? Executor is a interface. Whenever say executor is an interface, immediately what you should feel? Oh, it has abstract methods. Okay. Next, executor service is also interface. It is a sub-interface of executor. Now tell me, when we create a subtype of an interface, either from an interface or a subclass, why you write? Why we'll write a sub-interface? For extending the functionality. What the meaning of extending? Reusing or adding? Adding. Executor interface is already contain methods. Those methods are not sufficient. I want more. Then where I should add more? In the same interface? No. If I add in the same interface, then the subclasses which has implemented this interface will get effect or not? That's why we will create another sub-interface. In this sub-interface, we'll add more abstract methods. That's what I explained the functional programming. We have a SIM 2G, SIM 3G, SIM 5G. Okay. I have initially 2 methods, later 3rd method, later 4th method, where I should add sub-interfaces I have to create. Then subclasses will extend this new sub-interface, whoever want to provide implementation to new functionality. Gurtunda? Up to Java 7 version, we have to create sub-interfaces. From Java 8 version onwards, we no need to create sub-interfaces to add the new abstract method. We can add them as a default method in the interface directly, so that the subclass programmer, whoever want to provide this new service, he will implement. Otherwise, he will not implement. The service which you don't want to force the subtypes to implement, those services you create as a default methods. The services which you want to force the subtypes to implement, those service abstract methods we declare as abstract. Okay, na? Yes. Okay. So executor contain one method, but that method is not satisfying the requirement of it's not providing all the full-fledged executor service requirement. That's why another interface is given as a sub-interface with a new method. So what is that method? Okay, what is the method available in executor and what is the method available in executor service? Let us analyze. Tell me, executor is a interface that is meant for what do you call creating thread pools and execute thread pool. Executor service is also meant for creating thread pool and execute the thread pool. Yes or no? Tell me, once you have an interface, that interface implementation class is required, na? Who will create that implementation class? Sun Microsystem. Whoever create the executor service interface, he will only provide implementation class. Now I have a question. There are several implementation classes are there to the executor and executor service. Then can you all people remember those many methods? I mean, those many subclass names? Number of subclasses are increasing. It's very difficult for the programmer to remember, na? Then what is the solution? I am not worrying about the subclass name. I want only the subclass object. For one interface, if one interface has a multiple subclasses, to create and return the subclass object, we will have one factory method, and that method will define in one factory class. People know JDBC well, so I want to choose JDBC as an example. We have a driver interface. Yes. The driver interface has how many implementation classes? 1 or 2 or 3 or be depending on the databases. How many databases we have, those many driver subclasses will be there. Who will provide implementation to driver interface? Database vendor. The database vendor, whoever wanted to connect Java application to his database tables for storing and reading data, that database vendor has to provide implementation to driver. Then as a Java developer, should I remember how many subclasses? First database given subclass, second database given subclass, third database given subclass. There are totally 10 databases are there. Then 10 subclasses remembering is a difficulty to me or not? That's why Sun Microsystem has provided one, Sun Microsystem provided one factory class and factory method for obtaining the connection or statement or, prepared statement, callable statement, subclass objects given by the database vendors in the class called what? Driver manager, connection, statement, prepared statement. Did you get this explanation in advanced Java? In advanced Java, did you get the same explanation or different? Same, right? So one interface having multiple subclasses, instead of remembering those many subclasses by the programmer, they have provided one factory method. Call this factory method. It implicitly contains the logic to create the subclass object and return to our program. Now, similarly, in executor service, executor service have so many subclasses for creating thread pools. Then remembering those many subclasses is very difficult. That's why we got factory methods. How many factory methods? How many factory methods? 4 factory methods. I want one thread pool with single thread. I want another thread pool with the file. I want another thread pool with a dynamic. I want another thread pool with a cache scheduled threads. Then I required multiple different implementation. Then to have different implementation, we need different subclasses. Na? What are those subclasses? Let me display what will get output. Thread pool 1, thread pool 1, thread pool 1, 2, 3, 4. Save it. When I display object, there is a chance we'll get the class name of the object. Na? Let's see now. Look at there, how many subclasses are coming. Java.util.concurrent.executors $ finalizable delegate executor service. What is that class? Which inner class? Anonymous inner class or regular inner class? Static inner class, non-static inner class, or local inner class, anonymous inner class? Anonymous. Anonymous inner class and $1 will be there. Na? Yes, sir. Gangapal, Pratidi Gangapal. Now, executors is a outer class. In that outer class, we have $ inner class, finalizable delegated executor service. That is the subclass name for single thread pool. Okay, na? Yes. Then, what is another subclass name? Thread pool executor. Is it a inner class or outer class? Regular class. Okay. Thread pool executor running. Still it is active, na? Pool is running. And pool size is what? 0. Pool size is 0. What? 5 threads should be there, no? Yes or no? There is no task, right? That's why they are not creating the threads. Okay. And next, active threads, pool size is 0. Active thread 0, queued task 0, completed task 0. Okay, na? Right. Next, java.util.concurrent. Same class is used for implementing second thread pool, also cached thread pool. What is the difference between cached thread pool and fixed thread pool? How many max threads will be there in the thread pool? 5. In the cached thread pool, depending on the requirement. And now the implementation same, na? That's it. Okay. Scheduled thread pool, another subclass. Scheduled thread pool executor. Instead of remembering these many subclasses, simply we got what? Factory methods.
All people understand? So executor is a interface. Executor service is a interface, sub-interface of executor. For providing implementation classes, we have inner classes and outer classes developed by Sun Microsystem. Those class objects, those interface implementation class objects to obtain, we have factory methods available in the factory class called what? Executors. So your entire executor framework is running on how many classes? 3 classes. Number 1, executor, executor service, executors, plural executors, executor, executors, collection, collections, array, arrays, executor, executors. Okay, na? Remember it. Okay, na? Hope you understand up to now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is a framework? A framework is a collection of classes. Instead of collection, say set of classes. It's a semi-developed project. It contains set of classes and interfaces to perform one task, one common operation collectively. Then we call it as what? Framework. Okay, in executor framework, how many classes are there? 3. Executor, executor service, and executor. Executor is a root interface. Executor service is a sub-interface of executor. Executors is a class. It is a factory class, has a provided factory methods for creating thread pools, which are the implementations of executor and executor service. Up to now, all you understand? Really? Okay, next question. Once the pool is ready, I have to run the thread in that pool. Na? That means to execute that pool, I need one method. Na? Where that method is available? Inside executor. Inside executor interface. Inside executor interface, we have one method called what? Execute. What do you want to execute? Inside the pool, what do you want to execute? A task, na? Then I have to supply the task to the executor, right? Tell me, how can we supply the task? By using runnable. How did you supply your task to the thread in extend thread approach or implementing runnable approach? By supplying with what? A run method available in the runnable. Understand? In the executor interface, we have one and only method called what? Execute with a runnable. Hello? Hello? A interface with a single abstract method is called. Come on. Is executor a functional interface?
Yes.
Yes. But did it declare as a functional interface?
No.
That means, is it meant for implementing lambda expression? No. It is a single abstract method, can be considered as a functional interface, but it is not meant for developing lambda expression. Okay, na?
Yes.
Right. Okay, done. Next, runnable. Tell me, runnable contains what? One abstract method F3. It also contains only one abstract method F3. One abstract method run. Tell me, is it a functional interface?
Yes.
Yes. Is it officially functional interface? That means it is meant for implementing lambda expression. Can we develop lambda expression from this interface? Yes. Okay. Now, tell me now, once you obtain the executor, either by superclass or subclass, then now I have to call thread pool one dot. What method I have to execute? What method I have to call? Execute. Execute. And tell me, to the execute method, I have to supply a runnable implementation class object to execute my task. Na?
Yes.
Now, let's try to pass the task. So, I think all people know lambda expression. All people learn?
Yes.
Tell me. Okay, first you tell me how to develop anonymous inner class from the runnable interface. Runnable is interface, right? All people know outer class how to develop, na?
Yes.
Class name, implements, runnable, run method. Okay, now I want to develop lambda anonymous inner class. How can I develop anonymous inner class? New runnable parenthesis, right? Yes, sir. That is an anonymous inner class. That is a runnable object. You are creating object, you are instantiating a runnable interface. Possible or not possible? Compiler throw error. Already throwing. Did you see? cannot instantiate the type runnable. You want instantiate runnable, you want to create anonymous inner class. Anonymous inner class means you have to write what? Open bracket, closure bracket, and should implement what method? Run. Run. I am supplying the task system dot out dot println double quotes. Say hi. Just some simple program I am writing. Observe now. To the execute method of what do you call thread pool, we have to supply what? A task. How to supply a task? By using run up. Everyone understand?
Yes.
Then tell me. Control F11. Look at their output coming high. This high is executed in which thread? I want to know thread. This high is executed in which thread? Can I get the name of the thread? How? Get name of. Get name method you are calling inside a runnable implementation class, brother. Inside runnable implementation class, name of the thread can you get? Is it a implementation of thread? No. Thread dot current thread dot get name. What is the name of the thread? Pool one. Pool one dot, pool one hyphen thread one. Okay. Tell me, can I submit multiple tasks to this pool? Yes or no? I am submitting one more task. Can I submit one more task with lambda expression? What the difference between what is the difference between anonymous inner class and lambda expression? Lambda expression is a shortcut way of writing anonymous inner class. Class name and method name not required. Only how to write parenthesis, arrow, body. Remove this body. This is a lambda expression. Now this is what? Hello. Control F11. Which thread is using to run second task? Pool one only. Okay. Now I am taking one more task here and I am submitting this task in a for loop. For int I equal to 1, I less than or equals to 10, I plus plus. Okay. Now tell me, all these tasks are executed sequentially or concurrently. Totally, how many tasks I submitted now? Namaskaram. How many tasks I have submitted, Babu? I have written execute method I am calling inside a loop. That means to the pool. How many tasks I am submitting? 10 tasks I submitted. All these 10 tasks are now executed concurrently or sequentially. Why? Because this is a single thread. Only in this pool one, we have only one thread. All the 10 tasks are executed sequentially. Look at there. All thread one only execute. Only one thread is there. All the threads are executing. All tasks are executed by the single thread sequential. Everyone understand? Okay. Now I want concurrent flow. Then tell me, what should I do? I have to run this task by submitting whom now? Pool 2. How are you? Where are you? Logic. Some feature logic for understanding concept. Then tell me, how many threads are there? 5. In the thread 2, in the pool 2, how many threads are there? 5. Then how many tasks I submitted? 10 tasks I submitted, right? Then are these 10 tasks executed by 5 threads, one after one, or concurrent? Concurrent. First 5 tasks are submitted and the next 5 tasks are in queue. Now I wanted to display here system.out.println thread pool 2. And here also, sorry. If you observe the output previously, you got some special output. Thread pool 1. If you go back previously, it is clearly showing, acha, here there is no queue na. There is no pre-cached threads and there is no pool. Nothing will come. Okay. So if you take second pool, there are active threads are there. Number of threads, how many created, and active threads, how many are there, and how many tasks are submitted, how many tasks are in queue. All the details will be displayed, right? Let's see. Okay, this is the pool because main method passed and execution. Otherwise, let's do one thing. No, you cannot do that. Okay. Here in the run method, okay, let me run one. Now here observe java.util.concurrent thread executor running. This pool is running. What the size of the pool? The moment you call execute method. Okay, let me not run 5 threads. Okay, I'm running only 1 thread. I'm commenting this. Okay, how many tasks I submitted? Only 1. Now look at that. Where are you? Java.lang. Pool size is what? 1. Because you submitted only 1 task. Only 1 thread is created. And then active threads how many? 1. Queue tasks what? 0. Because there is no task to queue. Because only 1 task you submitted. And then completed task what? 0. Why 0? Because not yet executed, na? Right. So then after this message is displayed, then pool is coming. Let's do one thing. Here, where are you? Get name. Also I'm displaying SOPLN. Let me write here. This, let's see what will get. Cannot use this in a static context. I want to get access. I can directly call thread pool. No. Why this required? Right? It is outer variable. Na? I can directly call thread pool 2. So I want to see that queued, how many tasks are there, all the details. Okay. Control F. Look at that. It's not loop, single time. Okay. Here, when the task is submitted, completed, information will come after this method execution only, na? Then I should display this information 2 times, before and after. To display after, I have to call here what? Thread.sleep. So let me give for 2000 milliseconds and handle that exception. Am I teaching more? If you are confusing, please let me know. Java.concurrent thread executor. Pool size is what? 0. Active threads 0. Queued task is what? 0. Completed task is what? 0. Then observe here. After where are you completed? Then thread pool executor. Pool size is what? 1. Active threads are what? 0. Queued task what? 0. Completed task. Okay. All people understand? How many tasks you submitted? Only 1. That's why how many pool size will be 1. Okay. Let me do one thing. And this much R&D not required. If interview ask a question, did you do any work on these threads? Can you explain something more deep? What is happening background? Okay. How do you know how many tasks are in the queue? How many tasks are completed? Okay. If any that kind of ask question, this knowledge may be helpful. Now I am submitting all the tasks in the for loop. And here I am not taking sleep method. Control F. Then look at here. Task 1 submitted. Okay. When you call execute method, how many times you call execute method? 5 times. Loop, na? Inside loop I called. So for each time execute method is called, background what happened? 1 thread should be created for running that execute. Remember multi-threading, remember in Servlet program, as many requests you send, separate thread is created. Okay, same way, when you call execute method, in the pool, thread will be created. Okay, now go and ask your friends in the hostel now, because you have some idea. Array, in executor framework in the thread pool, when I call new fixed thread pool of 5, then in the pool 5 threads created. What is your answer? What their answer? Yes. Khatam. So ask them, come here, I'll show you output, your answer is wrong. When the thread is created, when you call execute, when you don't call execute method, why thread I have to create and make it wait unnecessary? Am I right or wrong? So initially pool is what? 0. Then running what? Pool size is what? 1. Active threads how many? 0. Completed also 0. Then after this task completed, now I am displaying again. Pool size is what? 2. Pool size is 3, 4, 5. Then tell me, pool size is how much? 5, 5, 5, 5. Extra creating or not creating? Observe here. In this pool, first thread is created. Thread 1, then thread 2, thread 3, thread 4. 5 thread created or not created? Not, 5 thread is created, but used or not used? Not used. That is their, buffer, right? Thread 1 already task completed, na? Then thread 1 is used for completing the 5th task. For example, there is a restaurant, 5 tables are there in the restaurant. Okay, now 5 servers are there. Then outside totally 10 people are waiting. So 5 people already invited. 6th person will be served by which waiter? Compulsory 5th waiter only? No, right? So now whichever the waiter is, whichever the table is become free, immediately you'll go and invite one customer and sending them based on the token system. Same way. So thread 1 is become free, immediately it's taking the task and executed. Now again all 5 threads are busy. Then now the task is in a queue. How many tasks are in queue? Completed task? Queue task it is not showing here, 0, 0 it is showing. Sir, let it be there. Okay. Then now task 1, task 5, and then now thread 5, thread 3 is taking the next task, thread 4 taking next task, and thread 1 again taking the task. Okay, very hard working person, thread 1. Okay, now it is execute how many tasks? 3 tasks. So it got 3 chance to execute 3 tasks. So just did you understand the queue task, active threads and all take line? Now I'm just commenting this line. Where is this fellow? Yeah, I'm commenting this line not required. Okay, your necessary confusion. So just you need to identify which thread executing which task. So now observe here. First task 1, thread 1, thread 3, thread 2, thread 4, again thread 1, thread 3, thread 2, thread 4, thread 5, because all the 4 threads are busy, then thread 5 is coming into execution. Understand? Yes, okay, done. Again execute. You get same output, different output. Different output. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1 become free. 1, 2, 3, 1, 5, 4. Okay, run again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 got the chance to execute 5th task. Okay, so now the tasks are executing and sharing. If any threads, all threads are busy, other task will be in a waiting state. Up to now, understand? Yes, sir. Same logic, I want to execute with thread 3, pool 3. If I use pool 3, now it is a fixed thread pool or cached thread pool. How many threads are created background? I don't know. How are you? Where are you placed? Bye. Look at that. How many threads are created? For 10 threads execute, 10 tasks executed, 9 threads created. Always 9 threads created? No. Again 9. This time 10. Max number you see, Baba. 9. 10. Okay, na? So number of threads creation is changing na time to time. That's it. So this is the story about executor framework. All you guys understand? Tell me. When I was explaining difference between extend thread and implement runnable, in extend thread, the code is not reusable. In implementing runnable, the same logic is applied to first thread, second thread, third thread, fourth thread. It's a reusable. Remember? This is the example for you to reuse. Okay, na? Right. So this is the knowledge about executor framework. Not completed yet. Only 50% complete. Now remaining 50% started now. Are Babu, whenever thread is execution started, our logic submitted. After thread execution completed, I want some output. After thread execution completed, I want some output from the thread. Bro, after my logic executed, for example, you deposit money, cashier silently sitting there. Hey, deposited or not deposited, bolo. Silently we sit, is it okay, not okay? Some acknowledgement I have to give, na? Deposit, your task completed, get out. So, runnable contains a run method, which is a void method. So it will not return result to us. Next. In the cashier completed deposit, but sitting silently. And your mobile didn't get any message. What happened? Deposit failed. Failed. Then he has to throw exception saying that deposit failed so and so reason. I have submitted my task to execute by thread. Then thread should acknowledge me back either by return the result to me or by throwing exception if some abnormal condition occur. Is the runnable run method support that functionality? No. That is where a new interface is given called runnable. Run, runnable. Call, callable. What is the new interface name? Callable. Callable interface contain a method called? Come on. Runnable, run, callable, call, sleeper, sleeper. Okay. So once again, what is the difference between runnable interface and callable interface? Runnable interface provides run method to supply the logic to the custom thread, but it is a plain method. Doesn't return value, doesn't throw. Which exception? Yeah. Are you writing any interruption logic? Which exception cannot throw? Run method cannot throw which exception? Which exception? And there are two types of exception. Checked and unchecked. Tell me, which type of exception run method cannot throw? Checked exception. Can run method throw unchecked exception? Yes, sir. Unchecked exception is not checking by compiler, no? So tell me, what is the problem with runnable interface run method? A run method is a plain method. It doesn't return any value and doesn't throw checked exception. In my project, I need a result written from the method. I need some exception throw out of this method. Then I should use what? Callable. Now, dekho, is executor. Executor contains what method to execute task? Execute, which is taking what? Runnable. Executor is saying that, Are bhaiya, as a basic functionality, I don't return any value, I don't throw any exception. I am just like a thread class. Thread class is also not returning any value, not throwing any exception. Like basic thread functionality, I am providing. You want advanced functionality, then go to my subclass. Yes or no? I will provide basic. I am a super type. I'll provide only common functionality. You want some specialized advanced functionality, then go to subtype. Who is the subtype of executor? Executor service. Executor service is extending from executor. Go down, go down, go down, go down, go down, go down. You will find a special method called what? Submit. Not execute. It is what? Submit. Method name is submit. What is the parameter of submit method? Callable. Open callable. Callable contain only one interface. Callable is also functional interface. It contain only one method called call. Call method return type is V and throws exception. Sir, what is this V type, sir? V type is whatever the type you mention here. Okay, na? So callable referenced variable, what type you mention? String. Then return type of call method string. Generics. If a callable type is a object, return type is what? Object. Student, int. Then what you are returning from the call method, that is the return type of that method. Everyone understand? Now, I want to submit the tasks to the pools by using callable interface. Are you ready to help me? No, you're ready. Okay, I am commenting all this code because it's a confusion. Now I am writing, sorry, which method I have to call? Thread pool. Thread pool one dot, which method I have to use? Submit. And tell me, submit method accept which parameter? Callable. How to implement callable? Callable is an interface. Callable of integer. Generic cannot be a primitive type. It should be a reference type. Okay. Parenthesis, open bracket, closed bracket. Hey, why is he throwing error? Oh, why is he throwing error? Callable interface, why throwing error? Callable, why throwing error? Look at the error. Callable cannot be resolved as a type. The meaning in Japan. What is the meaning of this compiled error? Also say I said already I'm in a sleeping mode today. Huh? You are disturbing my sleeping. Callable. Callable cannot be resolved to a type. Down. Import callable. Where is callable available? Concurrent. Control 1. Import. Okay. Now we are getting error here. What is the error now? Add unimplemented methods. Add. What is that add method? Call. Return what? Value 50. Okay. I want to write one SOPL. SOPL and double quotes. From callable call. Who is running this call method? Thread dot current thread dot get name of plus. Okay, now? Now, after calling submit method, one new thread is created for us. Callable is submitted. Control F11. Look at that. Pool 1, thread 1 from callable call. But where is my return value? After call method execution, this is returning 50 na? Where is that value? Call method returns this 50 to our programmer? No. Listen carefully, very important, everyone. Call method returns 50 to submit method. To whom you are submitting callable here? Submit. The return value. Who is called the call method? Submit. Submit method internally calls call method, and the call method return value will go to submit. Then now tell me, submit method should return that value to our programmer. How submit method will return that value to my program as an integer? No. Why? Because the value returning from this method, okay, maybe integer, maybe string, maybe object, maybe student, maybe anything. Yes or no? Then, and also maybe exception also. Hello? Come on, from the call method coming, maybe value, maybe exception also. That means whatever the value coming from this call method, either value or exception, must capture by the submit method and return that value to my program. Tell me, what are the value coming from the call method to store and return? There should be one common object now. Next question. What the name of that object? Object means from the class only, right? Without class, object cannot come. Submit method internally uses one special object for capturing or for collecting, gathering the value or exception throwing, returning from the call method. The object must be created from one class. Guess what the name of that class? Sample, example, ABC, BBC. The name of the class must represent the operation performing. Na? Tell me. Call method returns the value or return the exception immediately in future. That's why return type name is future. Hello? Understood? What the return type of submit method? Return type of submit method is what? Future. Assign statement to new local variable. Look at that. What is the return type? Future. Future of which type of the object is coming from the future? Integer. It is a container object. Future is a container object. It contains the object written by whom now? Callable. Okay. And now this is what? Can I say result? Result 1. Let's say result 1. Result. Then, okay. All the people understand this entire logic again. What is the difference between runnable and callable? A runnable cannot return value, cannot throw checked exception. So, for returning value and throw checked exception, we have a special method called what? Callable interface call method. Now, the callable interface call method, I have to submit to whom now? Submit method. Then submit method internally invoke call method, execute your logic in the custom thread created in the pool and return the result as future. Future is a what object? Container object. Future is a container object. This future object internally contains either the return value integer or exception throwing from the call method. Up to now, everyone understand? Tell me. After this program is executed, when I run this program, then submit method is executed. We are calling submit method. Submit method internally calling call method. Call method internal logic, this message is displayed and return value to whom? Submit. Submit store that 50 inside which object? Future. And return the future object to our program. Then the next line, I should get that value now. So in a future class, I must have one method na? Come on. What is the name of the method? I want to get value. What is the name of the method? Set to, get. What is the method name? Get. Result 1 dot get. Tell me. Control 1. Whenever you call get method, what is coming out from the future object? Maybe result, maybe exception. Then I have to handle that exception. One question. What exception coming from the call method? What is the checked exception? I don't know. Any exception. Then to hold that exception, again one more exception. Like future, I need one more exception class. Na? All are catching my point. This class future is meant for catching which exception? Checked exception. Okay. Then, sorry, you confusing me. This future object is meant for storing what? Output. Future is a container object. It is meant for storing output. Then from the call method, if an exception is coming out, For storing that exception, I need one more exception class like container class like future, na? That exception class name is execution exception. While execution, I got one exception from the call method. What that exception? I don't know. It is there inside. Go and get it. All are catching my point? Repeat once again. Future will carry what result? Execution exception will carry what? Exception. So how many container classes are there for the submit method to return result? 2. One is future. It is a exception or class? Class. Execution exception is a exception, which is a subclass of throwable. And it is contain other exception. Okay, now which is throwing from the call method. So I should handle that exception surround with what? Try catch. When you call get method, I should catch that exception because 2 exceptions. Interrupted exception, because whenever you call get method, tell me, your main method execution has to pass until the value return. Na? What are you telling? Get my result from this result 1. Then until result 1 is filled with the object, now the main thread has to pass. Na? That means inside get method, join method is called or not? Following? Feeling? Multi-threading, whatever learned previously. Okay. Last batch, I explained this executor framework. But in the middle of the chapter, I explained. I could not explain this much depth. Because that time, what is there in my brain? Just to create thread to execute to complete output. But now what is there in my brain? All my previous knowledge is there. I can use. You can use or not use it. That is your problem, not my problem. Are you following? I will never behave here like a faculty. I behave like a student. As a student, what I learn, I will speak. Ante. That time, how much knowledge has there in my mind, that much knowledge I'll speak. Unknowingly, I'll keep on going, next point. If you also practice along with me in your previous classes, you will also connect with me and you will enjoy the class. If you don't practice, I will be in my boat, you will be in your own boat. I'll go middle of the ocean. You will go my ocean. Come on. Get method. What is the job of the get method? Immediately, whenever I see interrupted exception, hey, why interrupted exception I got a doubt. I don't know. I told, no, I didn't explain all these points in the previous batch. Freshly now only I am typing this entire code. Really? I have one bad habit. I never practice anything before the class. I will directly come to the class and do experiment on you. Why? After going to home, do I have a time to open the laptop and study? Huh? Now I am going at night 9 o'clock to the home. Then after 9, if I open laptop tomorrow, when I can come to the class? You sleep. Tomorrow morning 5 o'clock get up. Okay, again get ready, come to the class by 7. So my journey is going around what? It's a life cycle. Come to the class, go to the room. Come to the class, go to the home. Okay, where is the point to study? Classroom is only my study point. So I will do experiment in front of you only. I don't practice. We will do experiment in front of you only. I don't practice before come to writing the code. Whatever the doubts I am getting in my mind, that doubts I will get clarity by myself. Now what is? Array, this is a new topic, ra. Okay, this is not execution flow related or object oriented programming. This is a completely new topic. Okay. Earlier, this is Java 5 version new feature, but I never explained because companies are not asking that knowledge. Why I should trouble your brain? If companies are asking the interview, your next level faculties are expecting this knowledge, then only touch the topic. Otherwise, I don't touch. Why unnecessary trouble you? Already so much of dump I am putting in your mind. Na? Why unnecessary these all? That's why earlier batches I didn't explain this. Now few batches I am explaining because interviewers are asking some questions directly, straight away. They know executor framework. They know executor services. They know executors. You know future. You know future? Future and not your future. Hey, how do you know my future? No, Ray. Future and this future. Now enter ask a question. How can I get the result from the future? When I call get method. If I call get method, what happened background? Currently running thread execution is passed until the submit method is complete its execution and return the result. Then whenever get method is past the currently running execution, there is a chance from other thread, this thread will get interrupted. Na? Further, I have to handle interrupted exception. Or the other thread is not interrupting. Execution going thoroughly. From the call method, I may get result or I may get exception. If result is coming, where the result will be in our local variable. What the get method return type? Come on, guess. Submit method return type is future. From the future, get method is getting what object? అన్ని నేనే చెప్పుకోవాలి. Integer. According to auto unbox. Can I write directly primitive variable int? System.out.println. Double quotes. Result plus result. Result 50 coming out from the thread. Okay? All people understand? So tell me, totally how many classes you are telling as part of executor framework? First, executor. First, you should say callable. Executor service. Actually, without callable service, where you can execute executors, right? First, what you should say? Or else executor service, executors, callable, future. Get is a method. Interrupted exception. Previously, why didn't study? Why didn't you read it? What the exception? Execution exception. Now, from the run method, I am throwing in place of 50, here I am writing one statement 10/0. Okay? What will you get? Arithmetic exception. Pull one, thread one from callable call. Java.util.concurrent.execution exception, which internally contains what? Java.lang.arithmetic exception. Tell me, concurrent exception is the main exception or carrying exception? It is an exception containing other exception. An exception that carry other exception, that concept is called exception chaining. What do you call? Exception chaining. Storing an exception in another exception and throwing both together out of my method is called what? Exception chaining. So now java.lang.arithmetic exception. The exception that causes this exception is called what? Cause. Exception cause. Which is the original exception? Arithmetic. So it will show as caused by this exception. Sir, I don't want to display executor framework execution exception, sir. I want to display the cause of the exception. Then don't write e.print stack trace. You write what? Throwable. We have to get that cause. Throwable th equal to e.get cause. And then you write th.print stack trace. What is coming now? Arithmetic exception. Execution exception message will not get. Okay? Right. So if you want to get both exception, you call e.print stack trace. No, sir, I want only cause I want to display means. Then you write thread th equal to get cause. Get cause is the method available in the throwable class that returns the cause of the exception and return, and you can call print stack trace. Can hope all people understand execution framework? Yes. So this is the complete details about execution framework related story. With this knowledge, you have to explore more in the Google. Okay, this whatever the program I explained and the entire material I will share in a Google Classroom. Maybe tomorrow morning I'll share. Okay, tomorrow morning 9 o'clock around I will share. Okay, na? Will you practice tomorrow? Meanwhile, you can also explain in the Google. Already program you understood. So totally how many things you have to call? Number one, execute method. Number two, submit method. Okay, execute method doesn't have any return type. Submit method has return type. Okay, look at here. Still program is running. Output display over, but still program is running. Why? JVM wait for dash threads to complete. Main thread, all non-daemon threads to complete. Right? Once you call execute method or submit method in the pool, threads are started. Did you close them? You started service, but you didn't close the service. You connected to the internet, but you didn't stop the internet. The internet is keep on only, na? All the notifications, downloads, everything is happening, na? So until you don't close, it will not be closed. So tell me, what should I do? I should shut down. I should shut down, or I should close. After usage, I should call thread pool one dot close. Ayo, why close not coming? Okay, shut down. There are two methods: shut down now. Okay, thread pool 2 dot shut down, thread pool 3 dot shut down, thread pool 4 dot shut down. Save it. Control F. Look at there. Running or not running? Once your usage is completed, you have to close your pool. Tell me. Shutdown method. Can I call try with resource? Can I use? Thread, sorry, not thread pool. Executor service thread pool 5 equal to executors dot new catched thread pool. Okay, it is not in blue. Okay, done. So this much. Okay, just I tried try with resource possible or not. It's not possible. Take that. Hope you all understand the story. So please practice once in the Google. You got sufficient knowledge to explore more on the Google. Okay. Thank you. That's all for today, class.